The cards on the first of two formation laps then here at Zuera circuit in northern Spain, ready for the X30 Super Shifter pre-final. Top speed 155 kilometers. Yes, that's right, 155 kilometers in a kart with a little 175cc engine. The Army engines providing great horsepower here, huge acceleration, huge cornering speed. And they have 6-speed gearboxes, these karts. It's the first time the X30 shifters have run in the X30 Euro Series, but it's bound to grow next year. And we've got 8 karts on the grid. It's not the biggest grid this weekend, but it promises to have some really close racing because there are 3 or 4 drivers that look like they're quick enough to challenge for the race win here this weekend. So it's become a one-round championship, effectively. A little taster series. There will be points scored. There will be prizes available. And we'll have 34 points for the winner of this one, 55 points for the winner of the final to come. So you've seen the grid on screen. For those of you here at the circuit, to remind you, it's Rinus van Kalmthout, number 617, the Dutch driver on pole position for Double R Racing. Gerard Cebrian, who won 2 of the 3 heats yesterday but had a DNF in the other, is alongside. Number 614 is his race number, and he's with the LTP competition team, the Spanish team. He's second on the grid. His teammate, Eduardo Garcia, is third on the grid in number 612. And then it's the very experienced Greek driver, Euripides Hagistofanis, number 616, who starts fourth. Row 3, we got Tony Forte-Thomas, number 618, and Frederick Opperdebeek, number 613. I reckon could be one to come through here. And the final row of the grid, likewise, we've got Konstantin Scholl, number 611, the Austrian for the Dan's Racing team, and Raphael Barzion, number 615, the Belgian driver, who is here this weekend with... a chance of moving forward. He's hardly done any laps so far this weekend. Konstantin Scholl qualified on pole position on Friday. Didn't start the first 2 races. Didn't finish the 3rd race, which is why he's at the back of the grid. But Konstantin Scholl, the benefit of all of that is that he's got nice new slick tyres for both of the races. He's barely done any running. You have a limit of a couple of sets of slick tyres that you can use during the course of the race weekend. And he has hardly got any running on those tyres, whereas Rinus van Kalmthout has started and finished all 3 races, for example. And we'll have these long races to try and keep the tyres working in these hot conditions. Now, already up to 28 degrees. It's climbed 4 degrees the air temperature in the last 25 minutes. Incredibly hot then. On pole position to the left of your screen for the standing start, Rinus van Kalmthout. It's going to be 11 laps of racing. And who's that making a rocket start? It's Eduardo Garcia, who goes straight into second place. From the outside of row 1, it's Gerard Cebrian who gets the lead. So it's the 2 LPT competition drivers, first and second in the race. And then it was Frederick Opperdebeek, I reckon, that snuck through to 3rd place. Rinus van Kalmthout, he's not used to standing starts from having spent most of his race in Rotax karts where you have rolling starts. He's still getting used to all of this, but he has been the driver setting very, very quick lap times. So you watch for him to come through. But he's dropped the pole sitter down to the middle of the pack. Konstantin Scholl has already started to make up positions as well. In fact, is that Konstantin ahead? Possibly. He's ahead of Van Kalmthout, who's lost 3 or 4 places off the start of the race. But Gerard Cebrian, 2 times a winner yesterday, leading the way from his teammate, Eduardo Garcia, who made a rocket start off the line. 6-1-4 lead, 6-1-2 his teammate in second place. And those two working their way towards the end of the first lap of the race. If I'm right, if that is Frederick Opperdebeek in 3rd place, then he's come all the way up from 6th on the grid. So he's made a very good start as well. And it is him. And Van Kalmthout is 4th. So 4th place for Van Kalmthout. 5th place for Konstantin Scholl from the back of the grid. And we've got 2 groups of 4 now. 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Then a bit of a gap. Then Konstantin Scholl leading the next group through. Raphael Barzion having a look there to try and get past Hagistofanis coming out of turn 2, but I don't think he made it stick. So our leaders, nose to tail, making their way through turn 4. It's still Cebrian ahead of Garcia, but only just as they hit the brakes now for turn 6, the left-hander. Van Kalmthout has got through to 3rd already, so he's got through at the start of this lap ahead of Frederick Opperdebeek, and then now got a try already to close something like a 1-second advantage that the top 2 have. But he closed bigger gaps than that yesterday, and certainly in a couple of the races yesterday he was near the back of the field on the first couple of laps. So he's got time to catch them up as Konstantin Scholl goes down the inside of Frederick Opperdebeek to gain a place. That's going into the final turn. We don't see many overtakes there, but that was a good move from Konstantin Scholl. Plenty of grip on those shiny new slick tyres. So he's there in 4th place now from the back of the field. And it could well be the drivers in 3rd and 4th start to hammer after the top 2. We'll see what the lap times are like now they've got clean laps and clear tracks in front of them on this lap. Your race order then is Gerard Cebrian leading the way with the reddish coloured helmet, number 614. His teammate Eduardo Garcia hanging on to him, though. In third place, it's Rinus van Kalmthout. And Constantin Scholl has just set the fastest first sector of the race so far. So he's the quickest man on the track in this lap. Through Sector 2, he'll go shortly. Sector 1 takes in the first 3 corners. Sector 2 takes in the middle twisty section, and he's quicker than everybody in that section too. So Constantin Scholl is about to get the fastest lap of the race. He's already got himself onto the back of Rinus van Kalmthout here. And again, down the inside at turn 10, and he goes through. So Rinus, with more worn tyres, also then loses a place to Frederik Op de Beek. 2 places lost for the pole sitter. He's down in 5th position now. This is not what he wanted. So I'm trying to look after the tyres here as well with this long race to come this afternoon. 16 laps in huge, intense heat this afternoon. I've got to look after the tyres. I asked Rinus yesterday, after we finished interviewing him for pole position, whether you could go flat out in these karts through turn 1. And he said, you can, but it's best not to, because it puts huge strain on the tyres and it eats the tyre rubber. So it's best, although you can do it and carry a bit more speed through turn 1, it's best not to go flat out through the first corner. Just take a brief lift and look after the tyres. So Rinus van Kalmthout drops to 5th place. He's falling away from both Constantin Scholl and Frederik Op de Beek. What about the gap from 2nd to 3rd? Last time around, a 61.6 for both drivers, so the gap stayed the same. Garcia was quicker on this lap in Sector 1, but Scholl was quicker in the mid-sector. Let's see what the overall lap times look like. Through they all come. 61.43 for the leader, 61.47 for second, 61.2 for Scholl. New fastest lap of the race in 3rd, so he gains 0.2 of a second. He's 1.2 seconds behind Eduardo Garcia in 2nd place as they go down to the hairpin at turn 3. Frederik Op de Beek just at a 61.3, so he's a little bit quicker than the race leaders as well. He's not quite as quick as the Austrian in front of him. And Rinus van Kalmthout, he's on a better lap here, having sort of lost his rhythm a little bit as he lost those 2 places to Constantin Scholl and Frederik Op de Beek. Rinus van Kalmthout's got the bit between his teeth now, and he can never discount the talented young Dutch driver because he's super quick. He's just a natural driver, and he's starting to come back into this, and he's still got a chance this afternoon in the final as well. But he's on a good lap here. It might not be the quickest out there, but it's going to be a personal best, this one, I think, for Rinus van Kalmthout, who is certainly hanging on this time to Rinus van Kalmthout. Got Rafael Bartzon running in 6th place, Tony Forney-Thomas in 7th, Evrivides Sagistafanis in 8th place. Through they go. Fastest lap of the race again to Constantin Scholl, 61.0 this time. 60.3 is the fastest lap we've seen this weekend in cooler conditions on Friday morning during the practice sessions. That belonged to the driver in 5th place at the moment, Rinus van Kalmthout, to set the very fastest lap of the weekend in the timed official sessions that we've had. So they're about a second a lap slower, and that can only be to do with the intense heat that we're now getting. It's going up and up all the time. It's 28 degrees. We had warm-up sessions 2 hours ago at 9 o'clock this morning. It was 20 degrees, so it's gone up 8 degrees already, and the hottest point of the day seems to be between about 2 and 4 o'clock. And it just rockets, it creeps up. Yesterday, the temperature went up about 9 degrees in about 30 minutes. It was incredible. So here they come. Think of the drivers as well, wearing suits, gloves, fireproofs, helmets. Not exactly comfortable driving these karts in these conditions. Have to be physically very fit indeed. You've got no suspension. Your ribs are being battered. Your muscles are being pulled. It is hard work out there. Now, Constantin Scholl has got himself onto the tail of Eduardo Garcia. Is he going to make a move? Not yet, not at the hairpin. But the Austrian driver is, well, if he's going to get second, he might as well go for the lead of the race and try and get pole position for the final. But the fact that he's been able to save his tyres for today has paid dividends. Because the very worst you were going to end up the grid was going to be 8th place with this smaller entry this weekend. So Scholl closing up. He's now half a length back. He loses a bit of time, though, coming out of turn 6. And Garcia pulls back away from him. Gerard Cebrian is about half a second up the road. So if he can get into 2nd place with his favourite move at turn 10, Constantin Scholl has then got to try and close half a second to the race leader. He doesn't get through, though. Garcia is doing a good job of fending him off. And this is all good news for his teammate, of course, the race leader. The longer Garcia can fend off Scholl, the better. And Scholl's got to make a decision as to whether he goes for it or he just sits there gets third on the grid for the pre-final and puts himself in a position to win there. He's going to have some shiny new tyres for that one as well, that's for sure. Having, as I say, done hardly any running yesterday. So the pre-final being led by Gerard Cebrian. Did a 61.3 last time around. He was a fraction quicker than Garcia. Did a 61.3. It was a 61.0 for Scholl. Rinus van Kalthout has just set the fastest first sector of the race. New tyres or not, he's flying on this lap. So Rinus van Kalthout starting to close back up to Frederik Op de Beek for 4th and 5th positions. It's quite a close battle at the back of the field as well between the Spanish driver, Toni Forni-Tomas, and Ivrivides Agistofanis. They're running in 7th and 8th, but there's only about 2 lengths between them. So they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, but at the front of the field, it's all starting to bunch up now. But again, Eduardo Garcia doing a really good job to not panic, to keep quick lap times and to fend off Konstantin Scholl. Scholl is quicker, 61.2. Well, in fact, no, he's a tiny bit slower on that lap, 61.276. He's a few thousandths slower than Garcia. Rinus van Kalmthout did a 61.2. All of the top 5 drivers just did 61.2s, so they're all within a few hundredths of a second of each other. The gaps therefore stay similar. We've had 8.5 laps out of the 11, so we're into the final quarter of the race now. Garcia still just under half a second clear of his teammate. It's a Spanish 1-2, and the Austrian driver Konstantin Scholl in 3rd place. From Belgium in 4th place, Frederik Op de Beek, and from the Netherlands in 5th place, Rinus van Kalmthout, who started this one from pole position after winning the 3rd heat yesterday to add to his other 2 top 3 finishes. What he can hope for really is that those ahead start to fight each other. But Rinus van Kalmthout, the good news for him is that he's on the pace with those leaders. And if he can sort his starts out, and he did have one good start yesterday in the 3rd heat, if he can sort his starts out and learn from that, then he might just have a chance of certainly a podium this afternoon, maybe even a win. He's got to get used to these standing starts, as you heard in his pre-race interview, because he is going to be car racing next season over in the States. He's going to have a couple of test races in Formula Renault at the end of the season as well. And watch this space, because the future looks pretty promising for him, aiming for stateside racing, beginning in the USF 2000 category, which has reared some very talented young drivers over the years. So he goes through, still in 5th place, still on the pace of those ahead of him. Fastest second sector of the entire race so far has just gone to the race leader, Gerard Cebrian. So Cebrian still with good pace here, even towards the end of the race. Would have saved his tyres a little bit with that one non-finish in yesterday's 3rd heat, but he's about to start the final lap of the race. Through goes the leader into turn 1. You can see the speed they carry. Close to 150 kilometres an hour through that first corner. It's absolutely incredible. And just ease off a little bit into the corner and into the hairpin at turn 3. It's nice and wide on the exit there, so you can carry the speed even out of the tighter corners here in Zuera. The gap has grown now to 0.6 of a second, so Cebrian looking comfortable. Konstantin Scholl, to me, looks happy enough to be 3rd, to have the inside line for the final. He caught up pretty quickly to Garcia. Garcia has driven well to fend him off, and Konstantin Scholl knows the best he can do in this race now is 2nd place, and sensibly, I think he's sat there and will try and get the inside line. Although Garcia, if he makes another start like he did just in the final, it'll be hard to beat off the line, because he was, I think, the quickest one off the line. It was a very good start, and he's going to get 2nd place. But the win is going to go for the 3rd time this weekend to Gerard Cebrian. 2 wins yesterday and a win today, and he'll now be on pole position for the X30 Super Shifter final. He wins in the end by nearly a second from his teammate Eduardo Garcia. Konstantin Scholl came through from the back to 3rd. Frederik Op de Beek gained a couple of places to 4th. Rinus van Kalmthout from pole in 5th place, but his best lap, encouragingly, came on the last lap of the race, a 61.1, so he still could factor in all of this. Rafael Barzian in 6th place manages to finish the race today, so progress there. Toni Forni-Tomas in 7th, and Ivrivides Agistofanis in 8th place. For the first time this weekend, all of the drivers finished the race. We had 3 finishes in one race, 4 in another, and 5 finishes in one of the heats yesterday. So the first time all 8 drivers finished the race. 11 laps complete. Gerard Cebrian, the winner. He'll be on pole position for the final this afternoon. His teammate Eduardo Garcia will be alongside him. But watch for Konstantin Scholl from 3rd on the grid. For Dams Racing, he is looking like he's going to be right in the mix now for the final race this afternoon.